You're refinancing, you're wondering, or you're thinking about refinancing, what are some of the costs that you can expect? So I'm just going to talk about Texas. The thing that differs from state to state is title. That is the main difference. Everything else between the lender and an appraisal is the same, but I'm just going to go through some real basics of what you should expect. So if the lender is saying that they'll cover all the costs, it means either one of two things. Either one, they're covering all the costs because they're rolling them into your loan amount, and your loan amount is increasing. So you want to watch to make sure how much your loan amount is increasing. But number two, it means that they're giving you a higher rate than they normally would were they not paying the closing costs. So you just need to see the nitty gritty, see everything in writing. But I'm just going to let you know some of the basic things to look for. So number one, there's always lender fees. So lender fees are administrative fees, processing, underwriting. Different lenders call them different things. It doesn't matter what they call it, it's under the origination charges section. So there's fees. So those also include like a wire fee, if there's any points to buy down the mortgage, like if you're trying to buy the interest rate lower, let's say the rate were 3%, and you wanted to get it down to 2.6%. There might be an upfront cost in order to do that. So that's all under the origination charges section. The next thing that you've got are third-party fees. So even though you might have bought the house a year ago, 2 years ago, there definitely has to be an appraisal. So an appraisal is, again, that market valuation to make sure that the house is worth XYZ. Now, there's some properties that have a lot of equity that might get a property inspection waiver, but you never know until we run it through that automated underwriting. So there is an appraisal, there's a credit report, there's some attorney's fees. So those are third-party fees that are expected, okay? Now, the next thing is title fees. So the biggest question we have is something that people overlook is, why is there title insurance? I just paid title insurance when I bought the house. So again, we're talking about cost to refinance in Texas. So in Texas, the title insurance is regulated by the State Board of Insurance, okay? So no matter what lender you use, it doesn't matter. They all have to adhere to those guidelines. Now, when you purchase the house, you purchase the house with an owner's title policy and a lender's title policy. So you got those at the same time. More than likely the seller paid those fees for you. That's very common that the seller pays those in the transaction. Not mandatory, but common. So when we're refinancing, we're not getting you a new owner's policy. It's just the lender's title policy. Because you're getting a new lender, a new loan, a new security instrument, a new title policy, a lender's title policy is required. What that title policy does is it's a title company that gives assurances to the new lender that all liens have been paid, taxes are paid, there's no encumbrances to the property. So in the last 2, 3, 4 years that you've owned the property, a whole slew of things could have happened. So those assurances are needed again. So that's what title insurance is. Now, currently in 2020, if you're refinancing within a 4-year period of time, there's a 50% discount on that title policy. And if you're refinancing in the 4 to 8 year time frame, it's a 25% discount. Now, after 8 years, there's no discount at all. So there is a scale. So check with your local lender about that, but you can definitely expect lender's title insurance fees. Now, there's also government recording fees. There's tax certificates that have to be certified. They have to certify what the taxes are or are not, and are they due. And also the title company is going to have a fee. So you definitely should expect a title company. It's called an escrow fee. It has nothing to do with whether or not you have an escrow account for taxes and insurance, but it's called title companies are also called escrow companies. So that's what the escrow fee is under the title section when you look at your loan estimate. Okay, so again, we've talked about lender fees. Just to recap, cost to refinance in Texas. We've talked about lender fees. We've talked about any origination discount points to purchase the interest rate to a lower amount. We've talked about third-party fees like an appraisal, credit report, flood determination to see if it's in a flood zone. We've also talked about title company fees, and we've also talked about recording fees, tax certificates. And the last thing I'd like to mention is the homeowners association. So if you're part of a homeowners association, when you refinance, there is going to be also a fee with the HOA in order to renew documentation. So they need to do some record keeping behind the scenes that there's a new lender of record. So it's usually anywhere from $100 to $300. It just depends on your HOA, what they determine. It's determined by the homeowners association what that fee is. It's called a transfer fee. So not to be surprised there that all these little nitty gritty things, they add up. So check with your local lender, see what the rates are with the fees and see what the rates are without the fees. That's the only way to do it. So check with your local lender. Hope you got a lot of tactical questions in this video, and we'll talk to you soon.